Louder with Crowder is brought to you in part by
CrowderShop.com.
Support the fight. Go buy some merchandise at the shop. It's a great conversation starter and irritates all the right people.
CrowderShop.com.
That's called the sip of. That's an aggressive sip because I'm going to try and make sure that I can hold this all down. Because today we're talking
Still
about
gross.
talking about Lizzo.
Oh, yeah. That's
So hot.
So I'm really glad that I. Well, she thinks so. I'm glad that I.
That's true.
I
That is
avoided
true.
the pea soup this morning. So it's an eclectic mix today. We're going to be talking about LeBron James, Lizzo. We have the defense attorney from the Eric Chauvin
That's
trial,
right.
Eric Nelson.
Derek Chauvin.
Big exclusive.
Did I say Eric
I think
Chauvin?
you said Eric, yeah.
Derek Chauvin, Eric Nelson.
Yes.
Willie?
And then, yes, really.
No, I said Willie.
Willie.
Oh, I don't know. This is a weird start. Then we have, we also will be talking about obesity and COVID-19. All of the facts in Columbus, Ohio that were reported by mainstream authoritative sources, they got it wrong. And then Jorge Masvidal is on, who's
really?
not only fighting probably one of the biggest pay-per-views ever this Saturday, but obviously he campaigned for Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And
Nice.
big-time conservative. But he's Cuban, so that's to be expected.
Yes.
You know, they actually understood communism because they lived under it. And then
Well,
they
experience helps.
floated over here on a couch cushion.
Oh, well, that was nice of him.
Yeah. They are very buoyant and very fertile. All right. Gerald A. is here. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Sleepless. I have a pregnant wife with twins who kicks me out of bed every night because I'm too hot.
No. I don't
Not
think
too
you are.
attractive. I'm physically too hot.
Just temperature toasty.
I got
the
replaced
room.
with a giant U-shaped pillow from Sky Mall.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah. Louder with U-shaped pillows.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Quarterback Garrett is here. How are you?
Morning, sir.
Sorry for what we've done to your people. And
all right.
Dave Lido, you have a show coming up here this weekend.
Ahoy. I do. It's actually sold out already, though. It's at Cuyahoga Falls Funny Stop, and then next weekend in Brad Garrett's Comedy Club.
Screw the... Is that at the Tropicana still?
No, it's at the MGM.
Oh,
The
okay.
headline, the MGM. We're in the ballroom because you get COVID in a club.
Well, yes, exactly.
Right. They really suck.
You add a little 1-2 step and it's gone. Okay, we're going to get to the first story here. Everyone's been talking about this, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, you can't really cover it because LeBron took down his tweet. I'm sorry. The king. LeBron James claimed, by the way, back in the day, before he tweeted yesterday, basically a call to violence, tweeted that he didn't support the violence of the Black Lives Matter riots. We covered it. Oh, well, that's nice. So let's go back to then.
I've never, in my 35 years, ever condoned violence.
4
Never have.
and 7.
But I also know what's right.
Only
is
black
right,
guys
what's
can do
wrong
the
is
Abe
wrong.
Lincoln.
And I grew up in the inner city, in a black community, in what we call the hood or the ghetto, however you want to
You
picture
grew up
it.
in Akron.
And I've seen a
ghettos
lot
in
of
Akron.
counts firsthand of a lot of black people, being, I guess, racially profiled because of our color. But not one time have I ever said, let's act violent towards cops.
Until yesterday.
I just said that, what's going on in our community.
The coach bought me a
not
Hummer
okay.
and banged my mom.
And we fear for that. And we fear for our lives.
Yeah, that's what. And then what you didn't see is after that clip, he said, "I had my fingers crossed." Psych. Because yesterday he tweeted out, then removed it against the Columbus cop for what is this girl's name? Is it Micaiah?
I've heard Micaiah more than
the Columbus
Micaiah.
cop who rightfully, justifiably, as a matter of fact, I would say requiredly, if that's a
Yes.
word, shot Micaiah Bryant. I think it's
Bryant, yeah.
someone said Micaiah Brown, which is not correct. He posted this picture right here with this caption: "You're next."
Ominous.
hashtag accountability. And he removed it. What's even funnier is afterwards he tweeted out like, I am desperate for accountability. Yes, we are desperate for you to have to you to be accountable.
Yes.
Yeah.
LeBron James. I'm so damn tired of seeing black people killed by police. I took the tweet down because it's being used to create more hate. This isn't about one officer. It's about the entire system, and they always use our words to create more racism. So they use your racially divisive words to create more racism. I am so desperate for more accountability. Well, yeah. Yeah, I think all of us are.
I think we all would like to see you not tweet out stuff like that either is a call to violence to a police officer who saved a black woman's life, by the way, or you're telling every other person out there, cops are going to shoot you next. Time is running out.
Right. Either way,
Either one is good.
There really is a terrible Paul Blarty picture, though, that they found of him. Like, he looks like he'd accidentally shoot a lot of people, not just on color.
And then segue off a cliff.
Yeah, he just...
I couldn't get it to stop.
You look like you could trick him by painting a tunnel on a wall, and you go through it, and then he just segues in. Oh, shit.
He still doesn't hit the paint part, though. Just
right next to it. I always miss.
So, yeah, we're talking about accountability, and this is the issue. It's not just hypocrisy. It's virtue signaling at the cost of innocent people. That's the issue that we have with LeBron James. What do I mean by that? Remember he refused to comment on the Hong Kong protests?
Yeah.
Right, this is the issue. He claimed that Rockets owner Daryl Morey, who tweeted support for the Hong Kong protests. So the whole NBA, because they're trying to get into the market of China, said, well, don't do anything with Hong Kong. These are people who, by the way, were largely, a lot of them, peacefully protesting because, they actually want things like being able to, speak, read Bibles.
Dangerous.
And Daryl Morey tweeted support for the Hong Kong protest. Yeah. And then LeBron didn't just remain silent, which would be cowardly, but he's a basketball player, I repeat myself. Foul. Yeah, okay. Go play hockey you won't. Yeah. They go through the season and they don't even replace their teeth.
Yeah.
Because they know they're just going to get knocked out again. He touched my wrist. I don't know what it means in basketball. He's a really physical player. No one is allowed to get physical.
Yeah.
What does that even
mean?
mean?
You can kind of bang around down on the paint, but there's a foul called.
There are more injuries in basketball than any other sport. Well, yeah, because it's a sport for pussies. So, the Houston Rockets owner tweeted about the Hong Kong protests, and then LeBron James, not only being a coward silent, he spoke out against people who were supporting the Hong Kong people.
I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand. So many people could have been harmed, not only financially, but physically, emotionally, spiritually. So spiritually? Just be careful what we tweet and we say. We do have freedom of speech, but there can be a lot of negative that comes with that too.
Well, actually, the point is they don't have freedom of speech. That's kind of why they're protesting. And that's kind of why they need support. You're saying we have freedom of speech, but there are consequences. Well, hold on. You're silencing freedom of speech. You're talking about abuses of the system here in the United States. We're talking about by the way, this also ties into the World Health Organization, China refusing to acknowledge even Taiwan at all.
Yeah.
I mean, just let's be honest. When people want us to constantly fear Russia, which is something that people run with, this collusion, of course, none of that happened. China is not just the biggest adversary of the United States right now, the biggest adversary of the free world and their own people. I use the term Chi-Coms. You know why Chi-Coms? Because it's not racist. Because it's the Chinese Communist Party. And you know what? No one hurts the Chinese people more than the filthy damn Chi-Coms.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And I love how he led off there with not only financially, like, this is really all about money, guys, but hey, they can also be hurt. No, God, I have to list 5 ways now. Let's include spiritually because that sounds good. It's like,
I don't think athletes should talk, and that includes Gerald.
Yeah. Damn you, Dave.
Basically.
I'm kidding. I love you, Gerald.
I love you.
You are the most well-spoken basketball player ever, though.
No, he's a football player. This is with CTE.
Didn't he play basketball too?
No,
I was assuming by height.
Yeah.
No,
Look at me assuming.
I'm relatively, short for basketball.
You could have been a Muggsy Bogues type.
I could have been.
Yeah, but you weren't.
No.
You chose a different path.
No, I was a Potsy Bogues.
So was Muggsy, but he just still could, jump and
a little bit of a messy Bogues.
Yeah.
Hey,
I actually used to try. I would say my name's White Lightning. I swear to God, when I would play with my friends, and then I would get really good for 3 minutes, and I was like, "Well, that was exhausting."
Lightning strikes fast.
I'm going to turn it down.
Time to take another hit. Like, why you got a long pinky nail? You don't know nothing about this. You don't know nothing about this. All right. Hold on a second. What are they talking about right now on CNN? Before we go to Lizzo, because I'm just trying to make sure that my stomach is prepared for it.
And essentially what this does is that it's going to allow officers to talk to some of these investigators. It's going to open the books. They're going to be able to come into DOJ and look at all of their records and information.
Great, yeah, because the DOJ is unbiased. Hey, can we talk about the gross disproportional representation on CNN? I mean, it's 2%. 2% of population Earth is gay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Do you see where I'm going here, folks?
78% of CNN is.
Anderson Cooper, Don Lemon, that guy, Brian Stelter. And let me just say this about people say, are you weaponizing? No, look, because the left is so quick to weaponize sexuality, like they'll say, you're gay, I'm gay. Like, oh, secretly they're gay. Brian Stelter, people got mad at me. In no realm would I even assume the possibility that he was anything other than gay. I mean, it actually, for quantum physics and all this, for every way the world could be, there is a world which is that way. The idea of he dispels the notion of parallel universes because there is no parallel universe that I can picture out of the countless, the trillions, the zillions, the number more than the stars, in which Brian Stelter wants anything other than a man's butt. I would sooner believe in a world created of nothing but scrap metal with Wall-E as our god king than I would a world or a universe in which Brian Stelter is straight. But I can't verify that.
Allegedly.
Unverified.
It's an unverified claim. All right, speaking of horrible things, Lizzo, this is fun, and then we're going to get to the Mekhi Bryant,
Brian
Pfeiffer.
Yeah, Pfeiffer.
No.
This is one. Pfeiffer goes west.
Right?
This is one of those. This is one of those stories that it's not an indictment on the cops. It's not an indictment on really the people of color community. It's an indictment on the media for not doing any due diligence at all. And we're going to get to that in a second. But first, a palate cleanse. I mean, I guess like if you were to just take the dirt from the tar sands, it's a palate cleanser. Technically, it's different from the appetizer to the main course. In the way that this Lizzo story is. I'm just trying to avoid getting down to the story.
Vomiting.
I know we have some clips coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So Lizzo joined Dove's self-esteem project, and she did a video. Sorry.
Yeah, right there. It is pretty funny.
You can just stop there.
She has a lot of self-esteem.
I haven't seen this yet, so that was funny.
I know, right?
Also, no one appreciates the irony that Dove is like, it's okay, whatever your body shape is, so long as you have perfect skin.
No, Steven, they use more soap. They have more surface area to clean. It's a target market.
And a lot of rolls.
They also do use like liquid that looks like they're just pouring milk, and she's probably like, yeah, I could eat that.
No, that's
she has
toxic.
She has to put it into the end of that extension that you use to throw balls for the dogs when you play. Just lob it in the crevice. Here she is on Zoom talking about how she is working on this project to dispel unrealistic beauty standards. And then you understand why this is basically, this should be labeled as harmful medical advice here on YouTube, especially in relation to COVID. Yeah. But let's start with Lizzo.
I remember waking up and wanting to be someone else, change my body, change my eye color, my hair texture. I didn't have filters. It scares me to think that now there is a tool that actually cashes in on that insecurity.
We're children.
We really are immature.
Cut to me laughing.
Yes. As much as you can today, cut to Landau laughing.
Just a big giggling.
Also during the Zoom call.
I look fat today, too. I feel like I'm throwing stones.
You're wearing white with horizontal stripes.
I know, and with red.
Be proud about it.
And I got ready cheeks.
Was the Beetlejuice suit not available?
It was. Made a choice.
I passed.
You gotta make better choices.
I'm gonna look. Maybe I lean up like the. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, Dove, if you're looking for a new spokesperson for your self-esteem project, you got yourself a Landau.
Hello.
You got him on the hook. Harpoon.
Lizzo.
So during the Zoom call, Lizzo also said, "I have nothing to hide." Agree to disagree.
Where are you gonna hide?
Yeah, you can't.
There's no shame anymore. I just post myself. It's like you. You take me as I am. You don't have to love me. She also posted this nude selfie to Instagram to celebrate her new part. Here we go. That's the Taurus season. And now I want to give kids fair warning here because we're going to explain this does matter as it relates to health, the fat pride movement, and particularly if we're talking about COVID.
Yeah.
But first, avert kids. If your parents, we always say like this isn't this. It's not a trigger warning. I just know if you have kids that we're about to get into some inappropriate territory. I would 5, 4, 3. Fair warning, if you're still here, you're a bad parent. She has a long history of this kind of stuff. Here's just some examples from Lizzo's TikTok.
I'm so fucking sick and tired of the Photoshop. Show me something natural like Aperol with your bra.
I'm hoping that it's one of the, like fashion where it's cyclical, like now bell bottoms are coming back, that Photoshop makes a resurgence.
That's yeah.
Maybe even MS Paint. I don't care.
We'll take what we can get.
Take anything we can get.
Trust me, back in my day, 30 beers, I'd be all over.
30?
That's
All
an
right, Andre the
opportunity.
Giant.
30 Belgian Trappist ales, probably.
jeez.
And then,
Who am I kidding? 30 O'Douls. You know what I'm saying, guys? All right.
dress her up like the St. Pauli's girl. So look, here's why this matters.
Behind her on the.
We got no, it's fine. We got fact checked for saying, hey, the COVID-19 is obviously a real virus.
Right.
It's significantly more deadly to old people, significantly less deadly than the flu to young people. We said, now, this matters because you need to look at the inflammatory reaction, the immune response, and maybe that'll help us determine what treatment options along with vaccines. But that was removed, okay? That whole episode, you can find it on Mug Club because it's not allowed on YouTube. Now, here is something that is irrefutable, undeniable, and this is where kind of like when you have leftist social justice warriors who, right, they want women's rights, LGBTQAIP, but then they also have to support Islam, and it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable. Just don't all get in a conference room at the Hyatt Ballroom B. Let's just make sure you keep it all separate so that you can live in this world that is completely inconsistent.
Yeah.
COVID-19, 88% of deaths came from countries with over 50% obesity rates. Okay?
wow.
Now, that's pretty general. So people say, well, let's get into that. That just means countries where people are fat. Guilty, the United States. It's a problem. It's a problem of overabundance, okay? Don't talk to me about food deserts because we have the internet now. New study from Diabetes Care found that 34.8% of COVID patients were overweight, and then even more were obese. So 78% of severely hospitalized patients were overweight or obese. According to the CDC, you can't remove this. 78% were overweight or obese. There is a direct correlation with COVID-19 and your immunity, your ability to fight off the virus, your likelihood, the mortality rate with you being overweight. But that you can't juxtapose that with fat pride right now. This is the thing that really bothers me. If you want to end vaccine hesitancy with people, okay, government, what you need to do is make sure that people understand that's not the only option that they can take. Doesn't mean it's not an option that they can take to improve their likelihoods of decent outcomes, of being even asymptomatic or not contracting the virus. I'm not saying that vitamin D is a cure. I'm not saying intravenous vitamin, none of that stuff. But I am saying that, hey, look, how often have you heard people in the media talking about diet, exercise, and immune response? How many times have you heard the media talk about these are ways that you can keep yourself healthier overall? Now, we don't have the clinical studies, so we can't say guaranteed it'll stop COVID-19, but we do have more clinical data than you could read in your lifetime that correlates obesity, diet, supplementation. Certain vitamin D is important as far as levels in your blood if you're deficient, and your ability to fight off viruses of any kind. But you don't hear that. Well, so that's pseudoscience.
Right. And that's the whole reason that we talk about stuff like this. We're not just going to make fun of somebody for being large. We're saying, look, this person's going out there, they're doing a campaign and saying, I'm happy with me just the way I am. You shouldn't be. And nobody else that's that big should be, because it's unhealthy, because you won't be here as long. I want you to live a longer, healthier, happier life. And we've known this forever. And now we're telling doctors, when somebody big comes in your room, you can't say, hey, you really need to lose some weight. Right. Because that's offensive to somebody.
Well, not only that, but you have big tech and you have big media silencing people who say, you know what, actually, there are treatment options available, and health and diet actually might help you from... And they go, there's no science behind that, says Dr. Fauci. Then they trot someone out who says, being big is healthy and beautiful. No, it's not. Statistically, occasionally there are outliers. You'll have like a Fedor Emelianenko who was kind of pudgy, looked like a relatively strong uncle, beat the hell out of heavyweights.
Yeah.
Every now and then you have an outlier. There is an absolute correlation and a causal relationship between being overweight and all-cause mortality, and certainly COVID-19. It's more dangerous for us to say, hey, you know what? Zinc, vitamin D, eat right, try and lose some weight, don't smoke, all of these things that we can say. They'll say you can't say that because it's not verified. Well, we fact-checked. Is there a fact-check? Is there a fact-check on the Fat Pride video saying you can be just as healthy? It's not true. Again, we cannot find, the reason we can't find common ground right now, I think you hear people lament this a lot. They go, well, we need to find common ground again. You can't find common ground on a lie. It's not possible. It's not possible to do. 78% of severely hospitalized patients, overweight or obese. And then you say, find common ground in acknowledging that all sizes are healthy. Nope. And that's not because you have a D next to your name. It's because you're not telling the truth.
Yeah. Well, in this whole line, if it could save one life, right? All the things that we've been asked to do is to save one life. I have a way to save at least one life. Just tell people being fat is not healthy. Just tell them that that's science. We've
son
known
of a
that
bitch.
forever. Come on.
though.
But here,
just
do it in a
makes
way that's
common
loving.
sense.
Like, tell them, like, hey, guys, I love you. I don't want you to die early. You're really fat.
Well, that
Maybe don't
doesn't
be that
sell
way.
any more Dove bars. I mean, the soap bars.
Well,
it certainly sells a lot of Dove chocolate ice cream
yeah.
bars. But you know what? Those things, come on. They're calorie-laden. They're tasty. They're unhealthy. They practically sell themselves.
If that's not the same company, what am I eating in the shower?
That's a different bar. It's like, where's the chocolatey center, damn it?
Well, I keep trying.
Well, it depends.
No, my Uncle Phil was actually hospitalized, but my Aunt Viv got mad because I was sneaking him cheeseburgers.
Oh no.
What did your butler say?
Oh, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
He's English. I don't know.
You know what? That being said, in that 26 time span, we all learned a lot about ourselves.
We did.
We really did. And also Will got shot because Carlton.
Yeah, that's true. That's the problem. There are kids right now going, what? No, there used to be a time in this country where actually the biggest shows on television were black families. They were watched by white people.
Yep.
They weren't sequestered to TBS with another Tyler Perry offshoot. Boo. Okay? That's not how it worked. So I know it's a little foreign to you.
It's weird.
You
We all watch the same stuff.
When people would boo Carl Winslow when he walked in, he always had a smoking gun. Oh, I shot another one.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Shooting minorities doesn't bother me. But you are one. Dad, stop treating me like I'm a little kid.
Did I do
It's like
that?
Barack Obama and the Democrats brought racism back.
Yeah. Also, the paleo people are now really upset about the got any cheese because apparently black people haven't developed the enzyme to digest lactose.
Oh.
They just need to
Well,
eat more
that's
cheese.
is actually what it's
That's
called.
what they claim. I don't know when everyone became lactose intolerant, but Lizzo seems to be doing fine. You don't get that size eating vegetables. There's going to be a few blocks of Kerrygold in there. Give me my screwdriver. We'll shove it in. So let me bring this up. So let me explain to you the science of COVID-19 and obesity. We have a graphic here. According to WebMD, COVID-19 latches itself to spiky surface protein receptors on healthy cells, especially your lungs. That's the COVID-19 virus right there. And as you see, it gets into ACE2 receptors and significantly rougher. It's Lizzo DNA! By the way, it's a live show. If you, I'm available on Instagram at Louder with Crowder, crowdershop.com.
For now, yeah.
Mondays through Thursdays, 10 a.m. Eastern. 10 a.m. This is just a fun show today because you know what? It's been a rough week.
It's been too serious.
We have Eric Nelson coming up too. And the best thing you can do, guys, comment below your thoughts on any of these topics. And we'll be talking. We have a pretty good conversation. I like the community we have down there in the comment section.
After the show.
After the show.
Yeah,
Comment about
because you
the
can't do it
pipe
yet.
that jumped out and attacked Steven.
I know, it did.
Pipe. It did. Yeah. Well,
A pipe?
It was this pipe.
A pipe.
Oh,
You were thinking lead pipe.
I was thinking lead pipe.
You can take the boy out of Detroit.
I was thinking a pipe bomb.
You know what's sad? I was just thinking of like a regular pipe. Like one that
Like
sprays
PVC?
water. And
Right.
it was like, I'm going to get him.
That's because you have animation on the brain.
I do. Well,
All the
it's because
science.
of the cute little Lizzo animation.
Yeah,
She's
well,
even hot in drawings.
nothing to hide here, except for my concealed carry pouch. It's just.
Oh.
Ugh. There you go.
Pennies and sandwiches stuck to it.
It's a misfire like Joe Pesci in Home Alone 2 with the tar.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm trying, Marv. So Micaiah, these are some of the myths that were that have been debunked here, and I want to ask you: when do you think media loses all of its legitimacy? I'm really happy to watch mainstream media die, and I'm happy that it's happening slowly because I'm glad to watch it suffer.
I agree.
Yeah, this is fun. It's fun watching Brian Stelter every Sunday. Like, we have to get rid of alternative shows on Facebook and Twitter. It's the plague of America. Don't ask how I got this job. Super straight. Every single week, they're on there saying that people like us need to be removed, that we're the greatest threat to our concept. They say democracy, but constitutional republic. They don't know that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So they went with these claims with Columbus, which happened yesterday, and a lot of you believed these. And when we reported this yesterday, we even had to say, hey, look, people are reporting that she called the cops. Micaiah, I forget the name. I don't know. M. They are reporting that her aunt claimed. We were very clear on that because we said we didn't know, but we did have the body cam footage, which was the most concrete evidence.
Yeah.
NPR and Daily Beast and CNN didn't do that. That's the issue here is there's a lie or misinformation that goes out. And I would say it's a lie if you don't check your sources because you simply want to push a story that perpetuates a narrative. I would say that's a lie because you have all of these tools at your disposal to double check your sources and then not follow up with the truth. So let's go through a couple of claims here. One of them was that Micaiah was defending herself. Right, this is defending herself against other girls who were abusing her. That's one of the claims that went out.
The other girl did have a small dog.
Yes,
very scary.
They
dog.
are terrible.
Yes,
and
dogs are scary.
God only knows what she was hiding in those skin-tight pink sweatpants.
That's true.
Anything she could have a Glock. Yeah, juicy. I don't. By the way, if you're a parent who lets your daughter walk around with juicy written across the ass,
it'd be great if one of us got up and just had juicy on our ass.
Are you talking about this one?
Oh. Wait, excuse me. Mother bought me these.
These were a gift.
She
explains a lot.
She told me the men would respect it.
They don't.
So the claim was that she was protecting herself, right? And this was reported everywhere. Well, I think you already know that this one is false because there was more body cam footage that was released. And the girl in the pink jumpsuit, you may not have seen this clip, though, was talking with the police officers. Again, saying she came after me with a knife. She was coming after me with a... Here you go. Here's the clip.
She came out at you with a knife earlier?
No, she just... That's what the police did.
That lady on the floor?
She came after me.
With a knife?
Yeah, so he got her. Can you please get my phone and stuff, please?
Have a seat for me. Have a seat for me. Yes, we'll get it. We'll get everything.
Please, sir.
Hey, she doesn't seem to hate that cop.
No.
But I see some melanin there on screen. Could it be that he prevented her from being shanked?
I thought she was getting stabbed. She was very close.
Yeah, no, that's why it was what I call some good shooting.
Wow, that's...
Well, but mid-stab.
Yeah, it was in the swing.
Yeah, it was in the swing.
Wow, that's... obviously, he should have gone for the legs. I think that's an important thing they're bringing up because everybody is a movie.
Shot her finger trigger. You know,
Not everybody can have Lizzo legs that you can hit easily.
That's exactly
true. It's usually
true.
a smaller target, usually.
And this is also, look, you also have to go through this logically. Use the power of deduction. Let's rationalize this here. When they say, hold on a second, Micaiah was protecting herself with the knife. Now, we don't have all of the verification here. Some of these claims we can show are irrefutable. We know that they are 100% false. But you have to go through it logically. Hold on a second. I remember that footage. Wait, they were attacking her with a knife? But she was coming out of the house and she was lunging at them. And by the way, a knife is not a defensive weapon. When people say, I carry a knife to defend myself, you're an idiot. A knife is an assassination tool, or it's a tool to, open your Amazon boxes, whatever it is.
Do some whittling.
A knife is not a defensive weapon, and she was charging someone else. That is not the behavior of someone who called the police. They seemed to be waiting for the police. She did not, which brings us to our next claim. Micaiah, this was one that was reported everywhere, even here at NPR, the bastion of legitimate news. Micaiah is the one who called the cops, right? This is how it was reported. We even covered it yesterday. Well, turns out, if they'd have waited a little bit, the Columbus Police Department actually released the phone call. Here you go.
If these grown girls over here trying to fight us, trying to stab us, trying to put her hands on our grandma, get her now.
Yeah.
Trying to put their hands on
Trying
their
to put their hands on us. And they hadn't identified the caller exactly, right, the police.
Yeah.
But we do know that, I think you can bring this overlay case, she had a knife and she was being stabby right there. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. The police officer stopped that stabbing right there. Or as the media said, she was holding a knife.
Well, yes, of course.
Yes.
Where
she was holding a knife. Oh, she was buttering toast.
Well, Stephen, technically that's true. The media is just walking that line.
Look,
like, how can we say this in the least offensive way possible?
Yeah. They didn't say she was holding a knife while pinning the pink girl against the car.
But why do you... nobody wants to show up and kill anybody.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. You're pushing this narrative that that's what the guy wanted to do. It's nonsense.
No. He came up asking, like, what's happening?
Yeah, and he had to jump in. He had to do something. Do you want a cop to show up and go, look, I know she's stabbing you, but I don't want to come off as racist. I'd help you, but it's not my job.
Yeah, and the girl in pink is going, what about me? I'm black. He's like, well, you don't matter if you're the victim.
Look,
Just ask Jacob Blake's broad.
You can tell she's 100 pounds healthier, and I don't want you to get COVID.
Right, exactly.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, nobody wants to see a girl like that. Nobody wants to see anybody die.
No.
For this cop to actually take somebody's life, anybody to take somebody's life is extremely traumatic and traumatizing. Why would you assume...
For the cop.
Yes.
Yeah, for the cop. Yeah, this is honestly, he's the only one I feel... Well, he's the one I feel worse for. I don't feel I don't feel bad at all for the fact that the shooting happened. I would have felt worse had the girl been stabbed. Now, I get it. You know, I don't see people killed. Yeah, but I don't feel it's one of those things like George Floyd, of course, it's a tragedy. Breaks my heart. This doesn't. It would have broken my heart to see a girl get stabbed. Now, they said that she was the one who called the cops, Micaiah. This is how it was reported everywhere. Okay, let's go again through the logic process. Someone who calls the cops because they're being threatened. If she was the one who had called the cops saying they're trying to get me, why wasn't she in her room locking the door? Why wasn't she hiding? Why wasn't she sequestered, as the jury should be, but they often aren't? Why wasn't she taken? No, they were outside waiting for the cops, expecting the cops, talking with the cops, and she ran out and charged with a knife like she was fighting for Genghis Khan.
Well, and at the very least, why don't you run up to the cops and say, "Thank you, help, I'm here. These are the bad guys," right? The cop is there, and she comes out.
I was going to get to it when I was finished my stabbing.
Oh, got to take care of some stuff first.
I got stuff to do.
But what? Look, who called? So that's the other girl's voice on the recording, correct?
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
Not according to NPR. Take it at face value. It was Micaiah who called the cops.
Why? Because Ira Glass thought it was somebody else? I'm afraid that was not her on the phone.
That would be great if we have the 911 call and it was just them doing their white guy voice. Hello, officer. There's someone trying to stab us.
Yeah.
It is a person of color.
It is a person of color in this community, which I know, are you doing Richard Pryor / Eddie Murphy / Chris Rock / Dave Chappelle's white guy voice? Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen Def Comedy Jam. You mentioned Def Comedy Jam. I didn't mention Def Comedy. Shit!
I'm just the one that justifies the voice.
Right. So here's another claim, third claim that they made. And this one really, when I saw it, I said, we have to make sure that we address this because it just shows, again, inaccuracy because the aunt was really the only word when this initially started, right? Yeah. They took her testimony as fact. She was the one who made a lot of these claims. So when it was first reported, it was her aunt who was on the scene.
Okay.
Right? Well, then it changed yesterday to her dad and grandmother telling the aunt what actually happened. Right? And by the way, again, this is a report here, USA Today, just in case you didn't realize. It says holding a knife. This is another thing. She was holding a knife. Yeah. I was just holding, and that's like saying a mass shooter was holding a gun, and you just write it. Or Lizzo was holding a spoon, okay? She wasn't just holding a knife. She was actively committing a violent felony with said knife. The dad also was kicking someone on the ground, kicking the other girl on the ground.
Dad?
Yes.
Yep. I was about to say, who's the jerk that's trying to kick somebody in the head that's on the ground right in front of the cop? That's Dad.
Yeah, that's just my old man.
Something about apples and trees on this one.
So Micaiah's dad is kicking a girl in the head?
Yeah, the one that was on the ground.
He looks rather young.
Yeah.
To me.
Well, let's not
Could be kicking a minor in the head.
Yeah. By the way, I love the fact check that you just brought up. If you saw there, right below, they were like, hey, people are saying the knife was on the ground, and that is inaccurate.
That was another thing.
It was just in the hand.
It was in her hand while she was swinging.
You feel like you've done your job now?
That's USA Today's false virtue signal. It's like, listen, a lot of places are reporting that she dropped the knife before she was shot just because the aunt said it, who wasn't there, but that was at NPR, and that was at Daily Beast and CNN and MSNBC. But we have more integrity than that here at USA Today. We do believe, but unconfirmed, she was holding a knife.
No one has ever been mid-stab and been like, oh, jeez.
Yes.
Oh, man,
I need to make better decisions.
That's her fake eyes. Like, I'm going to stab you overhand right. Ha, ha, ha. No. Yeah. If anything, you would hide the knife.
Yes.
You'd be like, I'm just going to punch you. Oh, man, you West Side Storied my ass. Well, that's one for you, Lizzo.
That's true. You don't need to wind up on a knife. The knife does the work.
It does most of the work.
Well, it could be dull.
Jeez.
I mean, you don't know how often the knife gets used. If it's Lizzo's, it gets
I'm judging quite a bit.
I'm guessing
Judging that knife was used quite a bit.
So whose house is it's the girl in the pink's house, right?
There's a lot of self-esteem in that house.
Soap for days.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Oh, you know what? Actually, really quickly, before we move on to, we're going to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. We have Jorge Masvidal in a little bit. I think we have defense attorney, Derek Chauvin trial, Eric Nelson, right? This is an exclusive. Is he? Oh, great. He's calling it.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Nelson, thank you for being here, sir. We appreciate it. How has this affected you? So
it's been a rough week.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine. Do you have plans to file?
Yeah, whatever.
An appeal, maybe? Eric? Okay. Well,
he hung up.
All right.
It's
Drinking
been
is
hard
the
on him, I
It's
think.
been hard on him.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the real victims.
Wow, that's...
And I want to know, hey, look, if you're out there, just leave a comment below. Did you believe any of these myths? Did you believe that Micaiah called the cops? Did you believe that she dropped the knife? Did you believe that her aunt was there? Did you believe that they were attacking her? Did you believe? Now I saw somewhere circulating that she's autistic.
Oh, really?
What?
Someone was saying that, like
That's
it's not
not
her
a
fault.
justification.
Yeah,
Feels like a Hail Mary to
it
me.
doesn't
How
really
does the
matter.
strength of 10 men not justify the situation?
You're like autism.
My best friend has Asperger's, so
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and I also
I
have
can
a
say whatever
I have a
I
cousin who's gay, so
that's cool.
Hey.
covered.
I have a cousin who's a gay and has Asperger's.
Really?
Yeah, he'll rip
Checking
it
the
off.
boxes.
Oh man. Well, that's gonna be catty and blunt.
I know, right?
Talk about not picking up social cues. I'd like to put him in that room with the Dove campaign self-esteem ad. A gay guy with Asperger's. He's just walking like, gross. Like, what do you mean? I mean that you're disgusting. I don't pick up on social cues. I want to bang the cameraman, but you got to get rid of those folds. It's okay. He's gay. He has Asperger's.
Yeah.
He's pushing it a little bit. I don't know if that umbrella of grace is quite as wide as you think it is. It's not Lizzo's sleep target.
Oh.
All right. So this is something else, too, that oh, and by the way, too, none of this stopped. Now that we know all of this, I think everyone has agreed, everyone can agree that the shooting was justified. And I'm not just saying justified. I think necessary.
Yeah.
If you don't think that a
Absolutely.
cop should be able to shoot somebody mid-stab, then you don't think we need to have cops, which, by the way, the Democrats don't believe. They don't believe. They talk about defunding the police. It wasn't just a tagline. They actually want to defund the police. And this is the issue, kind of the difference with today's Marxists, the social justice warriors versus the Soviet Union. Bad, okay? Understand. Horrible. I'm not defending them at all. But they, not meaning Stalin, but people who voted for it thought they were voting to build in this brave new world, right? To build this utopia. Today's social justice warriors, they're not even trying to build anything. They're just trying to destroy, and they have nothing really to replace it with. Let's destroy. Let's use the Green New Deal. That was trending today. Let's destroy the entire economy. Let's destroy all of our modes of transportation and energy resources and rebuild it with, well, I don't know, you have to check these 15, 16 pages. You don't have a replacement there.
Yeah.
You just want to destroy for the sake of it. And that's why you have the looting. And that's why you have people who think that horrible behavior is justifiable because it's just about destroying the police, destroying norms and institutions. And they accuse Republicans of doing that because we thought you should have ID to vote. So
Yeah. Well, they're like the Joker tossing the lighter on the big stack of cash, except it's ours. Right?
Yes.
They're burning our stuff, right? And saying, no, we just want to destroy the world. By the way, you know this stat is, she's going to fall into this category of statistics where officer-involved shootings with a black person and no context will be given. It'll just be like another black person was killed like 2 years from now.
Right.
When stats come out, they'll include this in the number. And we'll be like, but hold on.
And
She
even-
was trying to kill somebody.
And even then, the number of white people shot by cops is going to be twice as much.
Still higher.
Yeah.
I don't know where people... I don't know, again, when the media says they're disproportionately shot by police, what stat are you using? It doesn't exist.
There's only one stat if you use the entire population of black people in the country, which is absolutely meaningless. And that is what this is all built on. It's the thing that I hate most about using these stats is that it has to have context. A white guy and a black guy get stopped by a cop in separate instances. The white guy is much more likely to be shot by the cop than the black guy. Period.
Right.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
I think the stat is half of the media reports on it.
Right.
Half of
Yeah.
the media report
Yeah.
on white people.
They say 2.5 times more likely to be shot if you're black. That is if you take the entire population of black people and
Because
the
they make
number of
up
people that are
13%
shot.
of the
Yes,
population,
exactly.
but they
It's
commit
percentage.
over 50% of the violent crimes,
it
and
pisses
overall
me
there are
off.
still far fewer black people who are shot. Now, listen, if an innocent person is shot by lethal use of force that is inappropriate, white or black, that's a problem.
Yes.
Yes.
There could be some common ground. We can't find common ground when it's predicated on a lie that black men are being shot, hunted down, to use the terms of celebrities, by officers. When we say all lives matter, we're saying, no, we want to act. If we want police reform, let's actually look at the police unions. Let's look at the blue wall of silence. Let's make some improvements. Let's make sure that these are appropriate with their municipalities. In my case, let's encourage chokeholds as opposed to baton beatings. But that's because, I understand the physiology of a chokehold. Many people don't, so they just say we should ban it. Instead, it's a lie. And so people loot on the lie.
Yeah.
And people don't unify on the lie. You can't start it with a lie. Okay. Now, none of this stopped. What matters about this, too, is... What, sorry, what were you about to say, Dave?
No, I was just saying the part of it is that they're saying that, yes, it is the percentage of the population, but there's been an unjust system. So part of the statistic that they commit the most violent crimes is inaccurate. I'm just saying that's part of the narrative. I'm not saying it's true or not. And I'm sure there are certainly cases where black people have spent way too much time in prison and have had unfair trials.
Sure.
That doesn't happen with whites either. But the idea that I really cannot grasp, honestly, why we are going backwards at rocket speed with race in this country.
Oh, I know exactly why. Because it's required. It's required, or a lot of people are out of a job.
That's true.
What is Al Sharpton going to be gainfully employed?
No.
What about Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris and Joe Biden go up there and say, this showed the entire world that the United States is a systemically racist country.
Yeah.
That doesn't help anybody. And again, it's not true. For the same reason they go out and they say, oh, voter ID, it oppresses black people. And black people say, no, that's not true. That's not us. It's a bunch of white privileged liberals. They're the only ones who perpetuate these narratives. You don't really see it from the majority of black Americans. And by the way, just case in point, none of these facts, right? Even Jen Psaki, Chucky in chief, she was the one who, when addressing this, assumed guilt and right away went off half-cocked without facts. So it gives license to the media. It gives them cover. Here you go, her talking about the shooting in Columbus.
The killing of 16-year-old Michaela Bryant by the Columbus police is tragic. She was a child. We're thinking of her friends and family and the communities that are hurting and grieving her loss. We know that police violence disproportionately impacts Black and Latino people in communities, and that Black women and girls, like Black men and boys, experience higher rates of police violence. We also know that there are particular vulnerabilities that children in foster care like Micaiah face. And her death came, as you noted, just as America was hopeful of a step forward after the traumatic and exhausting trial of Derek Chauvin and the verdict that was reached.
Look, I don't want to get too serious, but that's really important. What she just said there at the end, just as the United States was getting hopeful. So that answers your question. They want to rob you of hope.
Yep.
A lot of good things are happening. Remember under Donald Trump, record low black unemployment, record low unemployment, an unbelievable economy, more American independence, energy independence, and guess what? They made you think it was awful and bleak. Yeah. This is one thing, too, that I've talked about before. And people say it's not left and right. No, actually it is. It is. There's correct right, and then there's left and right. But it is right versus wrong. And I will say, in this country, as far as what you match up constitutionally, you may not like it. The right is correct. Now, this happens with Republicans and Democrats. When they say Republicans are the party of the rich. Well, that's actually not really true if you look at working class people voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. But if Republicans are the party of the rich, okay, they need to win a majority of votes. So it's in their best interest to make you and keep you rich. If Democrats are the party of the poor, it's in their best interest. They require to make you, keep you poor. Now, Democrats can only win, the left, they can only win if things are bad. They can only be gainfully employed if they convince you that you need them. Because look, the message from Republicans, the message from libertarians, conservatives, Big Tent, I mean, you have everyone from Ron Paul and Rand Paul all the way over to Donald Trump, is, hey, you can make it.
Yeah.
You can actually, through your own, some people have tough breaks, some people have a leg up. That's true. But the beauty with this country is, unlike other countries that came before it where your class was fixed, you have the ability and you have the choices and the liberty to make your life better. And you know what? This country is actually a pretty damn good place. Republicans, conservatives can only win if they appeal to your best nature and you believe in your potential. They are required to win an election to give you hope. Democrats, you just heard it from Psaki, are required to crushing your hope. Because if it's everything is out of your control, there's nothing you can do. Oh my gosh, I'm a black person and cops are just hunting me down. What can I do? Hey. Another $4 trillion. We'll fix it. It doesn't work with Republicans saying, we're going to spend less and stay out of your way.
Yeah.
That only works if there's hope and optimism. This is something that people need to understand when they say it's not left versus right. There is one that is about soul-crushing, destroying hope, and one side of the political wing that can only win if you believe that you can make it and you can better your life.
Yeah. And it's all a thirst for power. That's it. That's the sinister part of this. It's all trying to get votes. Dave, going back to your point, and Stephen, yours, this is all they're doing is trying to get votes. You know how I'd know they're serious if they were worrying about the black community right now? I would look at the age group of, 15 to 34-year-old black males. Number one killer of them. Everybody else.
Our strongest demographic.
Right. Everybody else, it's heart disease. Almost every other group, every other race, it's heart disease. 15 to 34-year-old black males, homicide. Committed by 93%, black males on black males.
Yeah.
If you were serious about fixing a problem and caring about the community, Talk to me about that.
And by the way, there can be two problems. I know you're going to say, well, we're talking about different. No, there can be two problems in the sense that we need some kind of police reform. Our view is entirely consistent because I think unions went away with the post-industrial revolution. I don't think that police unions should exist. You believe that all unions should exist and be required for Amazon to provide you a $125,000 a year job in Queens, and you still kick them out if they don't have a union, but all of a sudden the only union that you don't like is a police union. I don't like any unions. I believe that the two problems can be true. However, which problem is more pressing? Which one needs addressing if you actually want to improve the lives of people? Yes. Violent crime.
Which can do the most good. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. Well, you can't defund a problem. You're not going to cure cancer by not giving any money to it. It doesn't make any sense.
That's true.
Wearing a pink ribbon. Oh, what does that mean? It means I stole one of the mastectomy titties from the bin.
Yes.
So,
There's a
I'm doing my part.
I don't want to wear the ribbon.
There's a lot of them. I saw some ripped guy making soap.
It is you do make a very good point though, and it is all very true, especially with the power. I mean, both of you made a good point. It does come down to the power where she's saying that there's this racism put in place and that America is a racist country, yet she wants to be the representative of that country.
Right.
It doesn't add up.
Like, wait, you are the
And if
country,
anything, every country would look at her and be like, well, yeah, that's a racist country.
Well, of course.
She's their mouthpiece? Yeah, I bet you there's nary a black person in sight. I mean, look, do they have to go so white?
Can you imagine if the Duke of Istanbul, I don't know things, but if he just came out and was like, yeah, we kill people.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're murderers. What are you
Turkey Erdogan was like, she speaks for me. When you hear her, you hear me.
Yes.
She's transparent.
Her face is covered for two reasons. One, very ugly. Two, very stupid.
Also, we do these press conferences at twilight, so it's more easy to kill, and she glows in dark.
Also, I like the movie Twilight.
Yes.
I am a fan.
No.
I know it dates me, but it just came to theaters here.
We're behind.
Here's something else that people talk about quite a bit, and I think this matters. People say, well, hold on a second, racism, Kyle Rittenhouse, Dylan Roof, these people, why were they arrested by police and not shot? And on its surface, maybe people would think that it makes sense. And I love how the left always says, Republicans are just black and white. We deal in nuance. Well, this one doesn't even, let's deal in the nuance. And by nuance, I mean, look at the video, for starters. So let's look at how they were actually arrested. And by the way, I don't think that we should put Kyle Rittenhouse in the same breath as Dylan Roof and Nicholas Cruz, who was I believe, Parkland shooter. However, let's look at the way these people were arrested and then compare it with Micaiah and see if you can spot the difference. Race has nothing to do with it. So first, awful, horrible person, hope that he rots in prison or gets electrocuted. Dylan Roof. This is how he was arrested.
Now is the time to buy a Taylor Chevrolet Buick. No one's going to make you a better deal. You can get a brand new 2015 Buick Enclave and save up to $6,000.
I love the used car commercial.
I know. It's like, we don't want that ad running.
Greg's got it.
Walking out. Hey! He looks just like Dante Wright did before he shucked off the female officer.
Yeah.
I bet this car did sell at quite a discount.
Yes. There you go. That's how he was arrested. Okay? Now I'm going to get into the legality of it after we show you this. Now we have Nicholas Cruz. Was he the Parkland shooter? Or I think it was Nicholas Cruz, I believe was.
I think it's Parkland.
I don't know. We can look it up.
I'm not sure.
Let's look it up. But the names run for people out there.
It was Parkland.
It was Parkland.
Okay, yeah. Just check David Hogg. He's been living off of it.
Yeah. Just check the inscription on his non-existent pillows.
But they're good pillows.
Yeah,
they're
pillows.
Good.
Good's in the title.
If you stick your head in them, they're bulletproof.
Yes.
Oh boy. And
they're a mouth guard.
Give it a shot, Mr. Hogg. Here's Nicholas Cruz. Here's how he was arrested. That's him laying on the ground.
Is that his house?
I don't believe so.
I was going to say.
That looks like an apartment complex.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He's almost as inert as Joe Louis. Look, hands behind the back. They ran right up. Boom. Arrested. There's no resisting arrest. Okay. There you go. That's enough. People can see it. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse, or as I call him, a hero.
Hero.
You shoot one pedophile, you're a hero.
Legend.
You shoot a couple, you're a legend. No, this was Kyle Rittenhouse was very
should be legal to hunt them. Let's be honest.
Come on.
Hunt pedophiles.
Oh, I would watch the show.
Just put Ted Nugent in a chopper.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, bow hunting?
We got
Every
one.
Tuesday on Fox, Nugent hunts pedophiles to kill a predator.
Hey, he just has his little one-liners. Have a seat there for a minute.
Kid,
Jury to the
creeper.
center of your mind. Just bullet rips through a guy's head.
Yeah. Pedophiles, by the way. Pedophiles.
Yes.
Or as Salon calls them, contributing editors.
Yes.
So, Kyle Rittenhouse, of course, not a mass shooter. This is the guy who was there cleaning up graffiti, and people tried to steal his gun and shoot him. And people say, well, why wasn't he shot on the spot? Well, again, let's see if you can see a through line here with how these people were arrested. Hint, it's not race. Here's Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, he did reach, though.
He did reach, but right now they're talking to him. Hands are up.
But he did kill a pedo.
He did kill a pedo. All right, there you go. You guys pretty much get it. Then he backed up from the police car, put his gun down. At that point, it's more important to hold your hands up until they tell you to put the gun down because it's strapped on you.
Right.
And then finally, we have Ma'Khia Bryant, who obviously rushed a woman while brandishing, stabbing,
holding a knife.
So
I feel like, though, if he was shot right there, Kyle Rittenhouse, you wouldn't find it unjustifiable.
With his hands up and a gun, yeah, I would.
When he reached down like that?
Well, with his left hand, he reached to kind of push.
Yeah, he put the butt of the gun.
That doesn't matter.
Well,
I was adjusting
put it
the
this
knife.
way. Put it this way. I can understand people saying that. However, we don't have any comparable scenario where someone was shot literally just for this. None of these ones that we've seen. So what's important is comparing it to the control group. Let's go to
I've
Ma'Khia.
just thrown it in a devil's advocate.
No, I totally appreciate it. Here's Ma'Khia. See if you can spot the difference. Hint, it's not melanin.
What's going on? Hey, what's going on?
Same approach.
Hey.
Dad kicks apparently a minor.
Get down. Get down.
Okay, so let me be really clear here in case you haven't noticed the difference. An active shooter or active stabber, someone who is currently trying to commit harm against their fellow citizen, a police officer is required to take action. Now, if someone is surrendering with their hands up and complying, even if they just killed 500 people, it is against the law for you to shoot them. There's actually the 1989 Supreme Court case. It's Graham versus Connor ruled that for lethal force to be justified, a suspect, this is overlay T, a suspect must pose an immediate threat to the community and or actively be fleeing arrest. By the way, as far as police reform, it's been suggested that they don't do any foot pursuits at all anymore. So the good news, criminals, is if you really don't want to be arrested, just work on your 40-yard dash time. So it's illegal.
Statistically, they're fine.
Look, I think the 800 meter is really what you're going for.
Yeah, you really want to go. You want some hurdles.
Yeah.
There was a portly girl once caught in my fence when a cops busted a party.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it one of those chain link fences?
Nobody got arrested but her.
You just got to run faster than her.
Yeah, everybody outrun the portly girl.
I feel like what probably happened is everyone else did this sort of another West Side. They did the West Side Story, jump the fence, and she's just like, that's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna plow it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's like, oh, stuck.
Like Winnie the
Shoulder first. Yeah, she actually just saw a beehive and was eating it.
Like, What are you looking at me, Tokenawan?
We got about what?
Tokenawan, you're looking over.
Yeah, we're going to go to Masvidal because he's in training camp. So.
Oh, he's in training camp.
Okay.
He needs 5 minutes.
He needs 5
Masvidal
minutes.
needs 5 minutes.
Never
Okay.
mind.
Again, tell me if you guys can spot the difference and if you understand when police can use lethal force. Because again, this matters because it might save your life. People need to understand that. Even if you committed a crime, and you know you committed a crime, you still may get out alive if you understand that if you comply and your hands are up, it's illegal. Yes, guys, come on. Shh. Shut up. We always have problems with Skype. Jimmy Kimmel doesn't have to deal with this shit. Then again, you don't have to deal with Jimmy Kimmel, so it's a wash.
Well, you're funnier than he is. So.
Also, Anthony Anderson isn't standing on stage ruining you. What an embarrassment.
Oh, my God.
We're going to move on here, too. And by the way, hey, if you're watching right now to show Jorge Masvidal you love him, smash that like button.
Yeah.
If you're watching it right now. Anyone watching right now live, you can do it right now. Smash it.
Jeez, that was
smash it like running into Dave's fence as you're fleeing the authorities.
Oh, would you invite the bigger person, knowing that if you had to run, that they would be caught? It's like, honey, it's so wonderful. Your friends keep inviting you to these parties, and they're much better looking than you.
They love me.
It's so nice of them. They just stand next to you the whole time and then outrun you when needed.
Mom, what's a wing girl? They always say I'm their wing girl.
Is it because I eat wings all the time?
Yes.
I keep getting arrested, too. It's weird.
I need to stop getting stuck in fences.
The girl was rich, though, so she's fine.
That shouldn't be. Shouldn't be my MO.
It doesn't matter. She was wealthy.
She got off.
I really made too much of a push to be nicknamed Stuck in Fence Girl. It's not a good shtick. I need to pick up a new act. So, speaking of act, It's time right now because we know that a lot of people 2 weeks ago or last week were very offended at something. And we are not beyond apologizing. We are not beyond recognizing our own shortcomings as it related to people of color, African-American, black farmers. However, I do think that many people, of course, completely disregarded context. So this is a segment that I wish I would never have to do. One should never have to explain comedy or jokes because it's a pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about. So now it's time to go to a new segment we called Painstakingly Explaining Jokes. All right, so to set this up, people are getting mad about this clip for some reason, so it just shows you the level of offense. Dr. Ben Carson saying that equity as opposed to equality is just a new form of racism. Preemptively, I agree.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spent a lot of time trying to get people
he didn't separate conjoined
to
twins.
not look at external
Just had a dream.
characteristics which they cannot change and which they cannot help. And instead to look at the things that you can change and the things that you can help, such as your character. What kind of person are you? Shouldn't we be paying more attention to that than to external characteristics? You know, that's what animals do. Animals, you know, base a lot of what they do on external characteristics because they don't have the mental capacity to dissect further into what's really important. We do. So let's utilize that. It just infuriates me when I see us
this is him infuriated
so immaturely, and we have so much more capacity, and we can work together, we can solve these problems, but there are those who want to use every instance to drive stakes of division into everything.
You know what? If that's him infuriated, I understand how he successfully stabbed his mother, but she was saved by a belt buckle. He doesn't telegraph.
Does not. Yeah, you don't see it coming.
You're seriously angering me, and you won't like it when I'm angry. Stab. What I love about Dr. Ben Carson is he has no problem calling both. There was something yesterday I was talking with Neil Cavuto, and Neil Cavuto goes, "Well, isn't that correct?" And he just goes, "No, no, that's not correct." And then he just continues. I've never seen anyone more level-headed.
Did you see what he just did though?
Yeah,
he just called the entire left animals.
Yes.
Yep. That's why they're mad.
That was hilarious.
That's why they're mad.
I'm like, oh, it came from Dr. Carson.
And so this was, of course, the joke that we made last week. People were very offended by, and it wasn't even a joke. Actually, it was just sort of in passing. And I understand because it kind of echoes a little bit when we were talking about the equity and the farmer subsidies, what Dr. Ben Carson was talking about. So this is the affront in question. His America Rescue Plan includes farmer reparations. Now, what does that mean? It means, and I don't know where you find this many farmers of color, but they did, and $5.2 billion are being allocated exclusively for colored farmers. Farmers of color! Farmers of color! Yeah, most happy about the new policy, these people. So, yeah. I'm gonna buy a plow, man!
I'm gonna plant that corn.
Go get a John Deere. Barack Obama, mother, I'm the president of plowing that ass. You.
I thought the last thing they would want to do was be farmers. Wasn't that a big problem for hundreds of years?
Yeah. Isn't that why Arsenio Hall called himself the urban man's Johnny Carson?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, the most offensive part of all is that people did not catch the Leon from Curb Your Enthusiasm reference.
That's true.
Yeah.
Barack Obama, I'm the president, hitting that ass. Now, let's be really clear. We also made fun of white Detroiters who find themselves riddled with meth addiction.
Don't white people just go to their neighborhoods and build urban farms and ruin their communities? Isn't that what
how it works?
In Detroit. Turns out the soil content, there's a high level of meth.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow, I didn't know.
That and teeth. There's random teeth littered everywhere.
It's still funny.
It's still funny.
Well, not only that, it got put out that we were obviously saying something very hateful to the point that I had friends who just read the headline of the article, and then another guy who was a close friend of mine actually get very offended and put out there that it was some propaganda stuff I was spewing when I was simply just reacting, making a joke. And I even told them, I'm like, look, maybe it's not my best moment, but why do you have to take everything to that level?
Well, they have to take it out of context. So again, the context that was never included is, okay.
I was ripping on white people.
Yes, we were ripping on white people.
That was a joke.
And a statistical reality in that government is corrupt. And let me explain to you what I'm talking about. You're more offended at the joke pointing out government corruption than the actual government corruption. So Biden's COVID relief bill, the infrastructure, there are so many bills, $5.2 billion was going to farmers of color. Now that is a 50% piece of that pie of all farm subsidies, okay?
Right.
there are only 45,000 black farmers in the country. So we talked about this. So that's less than 2%. Out of 3.4 million farmers,
wow.
That means that 45,000 are black. That's about 1.3%. I've seen numbers even lower, as low as 0.6. I've seen them as high as 1.8. The point is, around 1% of all farmers are black in this country, and they're getting 50% of those subsidies.
wow.
So keep in mind, white people would be getting, if you average it out, about $1,400 to $1,600 per person. This means that if this bill was honest, every single black farmer in the country would be getting $110,000 to $120,000. So either,
cultivating, man.
And again, the context we were going over, either all of this money, and it wouldn't be that hard to ask all the black farmers, there aren't that many of them, either they are making out like a pimp, or the government is filled with a bureaucracy and red tape, and that money's not actually going to farmers. In other words, the way to help black farmers is not to have the government take a big old cut, and they'll probably only see about the $1,300 that white farmers see anyway. So the issue here is, of course, basing a policy on the color of people's skin, people going along with it, and then not saying what's going on the right hand with them pocketing the money. Well, that's administrative fees. Those are overhead costs. Now, we, of course, are not... I think all of us, though, realize that we need to do better.
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
Every day.
Sure.
And we wanted to make sure that we weren't just an echo chamber, that we had people to keep us in check. And so we actually now check in with our person of color farmer correspondent. Well, I guess the money got where it was going.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
That could tip over eventually.
Yeah. There's a TV in the back of that headrest for sure.
I have a... Yeah, probably a PlayStation.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
That's
for
one.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Upgrade.
one that you would still...
Funkmaster Flex showed up, was like, all right, listen, I'm going to put a fish tank in your back seat. Like, why would you ever do this? I have no use for this.
Because it's dope.
It's because MTV's running out of ideas.
That way, if you get rear-ended, all the glass is going to hurt you bad, and the salt water going to sting the wounds.
Not to mention, I illegally put a shark in there. I poached that shit.
I don't know where I got a shark. It's a hammerhead.
Pimp My Ride. That was the worst. I had a friend who was on Pimp My Ride.
Did you really?
They put an oxygen bar in his glove compartment. He no longer had a glove compartment.
Do you know how the guy...
True story.
He's like, I got to put this somewhere.
And do you know why they did it? Because he was an amateur skateboarder. He was like, all right, listen, I hear you like to skate. This was Funkmaster Flex.
Yeah.
Like, I hear you like to skate. And so, no skater would have a ride that's complete without an oxygen bar in the glove compartment. That's
what?
funny.
Okay.
The
That
guy
just makes
who
common
made
sense.
millions of dollars pitching that show went over to whatever one of the Nashville networks or country, and it was like, yeah, it's called Trick My Truck. And they were like, okay. And he made more money just pitching the same show to rednecks.
Oh, genius.
And they never show them, actually my friend, not friend, but a guy I knew was a comic, Flip something. He said they never show them when
Flip
they go,
Schultz?
Flip Schultz.
Yeah.
They never show them when they go back to take that car back to the shitty neighborhood.
Yeah,
exactly.
Then it gets
Give me
stolen
the
from
car.
them 5 minutes
I just
later.
had my ride pimped. He's like, now you're going to be pimping the bus.
Appreciate you prepping
Exhibit's
it
like,
for me.
have fun.
They stole my oxygen bar, man.
They stole my oxygen bar. Not to mention, like, how do you refill? Do you know how much of a pain in the ass that
what
is?
is that?
Do you know
And
how
you get
flammable oxygen
high
is?
if it's pure oxygen.
Well, everything's surface. They're like, your engine's still a piece of shit.
I broke down on the way home from Pimp My
Hey,
Ride.
did you give me a little more horsepower? I do not understand your technical terminology. Funkmaster Flex!
There is a horse airbrushed on your hood, though, because I heard you
Yeah.
like horses. I don't.
Well, you know what?
Swing and a miss.
That's a stencil taken from The Horse Whisperer, which was Matt Damon. That was a good film, so I use that as a reference point. Also, you notice that you no longer have a trunk. It is filled with an actual horse head. We do not have a taxidermist specialist, so I would recommend parking in the shade for a few months.
I poached it and cut it off myself.
Yeah, I did it. I just made a stop on my shark hunting trip.
I really just used this show to hurt animals.
It's really an excuse. By the way, you in a dog fighting? No, of course, no. Never mind. I wasn't going to offer you.
No, don't worry about it. Hey, man, stop airbrushing dog fights on his...
You're going to need to cover that up.
I thought he loved dog fight.
Let me know. Are we waiting on Jorge Masvidal?
Yeah. Jorge, he texted and said he's going to have to call us back. So I have a few chats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you mean he's going to, because the connection isn't working?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
We'll go with that.
Yeah, he heard the segment. He's like, no, click.
Actually, you know what? I will say this. This is one thing about the UFC in comparison. They've made some mistakes in the past, but now they've made it policy where they don't silence fighters. So you have fighters. You had Kobe Covington who was doing the MAGA thing, and he was fighting I think Tyron Woodley, who was Black Lives Matter, and they say, look, we don't think it's a good idea to go out and spout politics, but we don't control centrally what our fighters do. It's the only organization that does that, and it's the only organization that has seen their numbers go up.
Yeah,
the UFC compared to the NBA record low ratings right now.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that they suck right now. If you can't speak out against what China is doing in Hong Kong, and you kick fans out of the arena in the United States for holding up a sign for that, screw you. I am absolutely done. It wasn't the Black Lives Matter stuff, so that didn't help. It's the China stuff.
Yeah, and I by the way, everyone out there, I don't usually encourage boycotts, but the NBA, come on. I want you to drive them down to WNBA-like wages.
That's a taste cut.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
You shouldn't watch it all.
Yep. Hey, equality, that's socialism. Everyone is equally poor. Yes. I want LeBron to get the same salary as the best female player in the WNBA. I think that's fair.
45,000,
fair.
85,000, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me know when we have Jorge. You said we have a couple of chats.
Yeah, I got this one from Kate. Question: could you explain to the idiots out there why using a taser would not have been as effective? Thanks.
Well, thank you. I believe I did.
Can I field this?
Yeah.
It's a taser.
Next question.
Here's the thing that people, I think I explained it yesterday, but people don't understand this about a taser. Especially, these are barbs, that go into people, and they can miss. If you want to have police officers rely on a taser, okay, so take a gun, all right? Now, give that gun only one shot with less range and no lethality, and sometimes completely ineffective.
Yeah.
That's a taser. So let's just go down to shot placement. You're accounting on cops to be at point-blank range and have perfect aim every time. That's the only way you could say that a taser is a substitute for a firearm.
And do you expect that the taser is going to immediately incapacitate them and they're going to be like frozen in time or something like that? No, the knife continues to go forward even if you're tased.
You don't send them to the shadow realm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my friends and I never got drunk and snuck up on each other to shoot them. Tasers and stun guns, we've done it.
Yeah, I've been tased. I've been
tased and stunned. I've been tased by a cop.
Yeah, you were tased by a cop. I was tased on this show when I was being waterboarded.
Yeah,
we had to go through a series of challenges.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was tased. Well, I actually I tased my producer at the time, not K. Jared, and then he turned around and tased me in the heart.
In the heart.
Really?
Which is right there on the instructions.
Is that why you're having the prom show?
No, but I'll tell you what, that wasn't nearly as painful as one of the challenges was waxing our armpits.
Oh, man.
And that was way worse because I didn't realize you're supposed to shave them first so you don't have that tuft of hair. So it's that full hair, and just picture grabbing a lock and just ripping it out.
No.
I mean, we were bleeding. I had to change shirts. That was way more painful than being tased. Honestly, stun gun is nothing. So look, hey, we're going to have Jorge Masvidal in a little bit. What we're going to do is, because YouTube right now is not going to like this, we're going to go to Mug Club exclusively, and then we'll release this on Crowder Bits, assuming that we actually get him.
And check out their fight this weekend. You said
the fight is him versus Kamaru Usman on Saturday night UFC. We will be watching it, and of course, also I'm going to be asking him about Jake Paul because he helped train him for Ben Askren. There's a little bit of drama there. So smash that like button. Best thing you can do, just comment your thoughts here. Again, I'm always curious to hear what people think about. Do you really think that tasers replace firearms?
No.
Are there actually people out there who believe it? There are enough people, because you hear them say that, like Kathy Griffin. But Kathy Griffin also said it was just a kid, just one of the old knife fights. Who doesn't remember? Who doesn't remember all our old knife fights down by the creek?
Well, Kathy Griffin also held up a severed president's head, so
which didn't really offend me. I was like, whatever.
I wasn't offended either. Isn't that crazy?
I thought it was bad art.
Yeah, I just thought it was bad art.
That was my critique.
But I remember I wasn't outraged. I was like, well, that makes sense. Look, she's not relevant unless she does something like that.
Same hair.
Yeah, pretty much. So we're going to go mugclub.com/mugclub. We have a whole other hour to this show. Kamaru Usman, Kamaru Usman. No. Jorge Masvidal, if you want to watch it live. Thank you. Love you. We are going to see you next week. YouTube right now, you can piss off.